Hey everyone! Today's video is covering the Rick and Morty comic series, Lil Poopy Superstar, which features a Mr. PoopyButtHole and summer adventure. It also covers an origin story for PB, and on a related note, I'm working on a character history video for PB that will go super in detail about what exactly he is and what his origins are, because believe it or not, even the creators don't seem to be able to keep the story straight. But I enjoyed reading this series, and wanted to cover it since I know there are fans out there who don't know about it. So here we go. For context, this happens sometime after the events of Season 2, Episode 4, the Parasite episode.
He's sorry you didn't have bad memories of him? If you love him, you should leave.
And that's the way the news goes.
And PB seems mostly recovered from the gunshot, though definitely not completely. Anyways, we open on Summer feeling jealous of Morty's adventures with Rick, and lamenting that she could help too, before being surprised to find one Mr. PoopyButtHole in her room. And he says,
Ooh-wee! Summer, you sure could!
PB tells Summer he needs help, and that she's the only one in the family he can trust right now, and when she asks why, he replies,
Because I trust you not to shoot me!
He then says that before they go, he's gonna need a disguise, so she replaces his hat with a Lil bowler hat, and gives him a Lil mustache too. They head towards Rick's lab. Someone takes pictures of them from the top of the stairs. They get to Rick's lab, and PB asks Summer to get the portal gun off Rick's shelf since he can't reach it. He tells her about the guy taking pictures, and suddenly he shows back up and says the news outlets are gonna go nuts over these pictures of Mr. PoopyButtHole. But PB breaks the camera, and he and Summer head off to PB's home dimension. As soon as we get there, we can see missing posters for him on the walls. Summer asks PB where they are, and he tells her not to say his name before an Oscar the Grouch type dude pops out yelling for PB. They cover by saying his name is Poopy Bumhole instead, and the guy mentions that PB had disappeared. This gets Summer to notice the flyers and run off to see more of this dimension, and she's shocked to discover that the whole planet is obsessed with Mr. PoopyButtHole. There's a giant gold statue, a blimp with his missing poster, a bunch of people with his merch, and the movie theater is playing an all-day PoopyButtHole marathon, including Poop Butt 2, Electric Boogaloo, Poop Busters, and Jurassic Poop. Summer's obviously surprised by all this, and after getting chased by a mob of fans because she said PB's name again, PB explains that he's his planet's biggest celebrity, and that he actually hates it, which is why he ultimately left without telling anyone. But he explains that getting shot made him realize he needed to at least let his home planet know he's okay, but not coming back, so that they can at least move on. Summer asks what the plan is, and PB warns her that his fans are savages. They ultimately decide he should just announce it on TV, though, and once they get there, they immediately ask to be put on air. When the guy says no, they reveal that it's actually Mr. PoopyButtHole, which causes his fans to absolutely lose their minds, which kind of hilariously is how a lot of the fanbase first reacted to him. Summer protects him, though, and fights them all off with her bare hands, and then rushes PB to the studio where he makes his announcement.
Hi everybody, it's me, Mr. PoopyButtHole. I've not been missing, but hiding. I'm here today to apologize for my absence. Oh yes, I am. I didn't mean to hurt any of you, but I'm not staying. I have a new life outside of the spotlight, on a different planet. Thank you for understanding. The news lady announces that Summer had brainwashed PB though, and she gets carted off to space jail, while PB gets carried back to Hollywood to reunite with his agent. After getting processed for space jail, Summer tries to figure a way out. She still has PB's Lil bowler hat from when he took the disguise off earlier, and she discovers that he stashed the portal gun inside somehow. But unfortunately, it only has enough charge for a single portal. She debates her options, either portal directly to PB and try, but probably fail to fight their way out, portal to Rick and let him and Morty save the day, or escape and find PB on her own, and portal home after finding him. And our girl obviously picks Plan C, and she lures the guard over by offering her signed merch in exchange for the key, which the guard declines, but teases her with the key.
so Summer bonks her on the head and grabs the key in order to escape, switching outfits with the guard in the process, something that hilariously has zero impact later on. But first, she finds the armory and grabs 3 guns. And then, when she asks some of the guards the way out, almost everyone sees through it instantly, so she starts a firefight and manages to escape through a hole that one of the guards shot. On her way out, she hilariously stuffs in some exposition that I'm guessing the storyboard artists forgot to detail beforehand, and escapes in a ship that looks suspiciously like Rick's. She can't figure the ship out though, so she just says she wants to get to PB, and the ship instantly sets coordinates for his location. Meanwhile, PB is being held captive by his former agent, Cecilia. He tries breaking free, but security stops him, and Cecilia rages about how he left without warning, but he tells her she wouldn't let him leave, and that she was overworking him, even locking him in the studio. She tells him he's going to live in the studio from now on, and that she owns him, and then she drops the classic moment. She says the title of the show.
He said it! He said it!
What if this is as good as it gets?
There it is!
The only way for me to solve this crisis is to be Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
He says he has to go to the bathroom, but the security want to go in with him, so he at least gets them to turn around so he can figure a way out. And while the guard goes on about how big of a fan she is, he says,
Oh my, the lipstick is the only thing they keep in their bathroom cabinet? If I drew a 6-pack, would anyone believe I got ripped while I was missing and be too afraid to approach me? Don't look at me!
He finally just chucks a lil cactus at her head, which does nothing but get her angry. But luckily Summer arrives and starts beating the crap out of Cecilia. She and PB reunite, and it's kinda sweet. Cecilia suddenly smacks Summer's gun away though, and when the guard goes to shoot Summer, PB dives in front, luckily only getting shot in the hat. However, the agent loses it, screaming that his top hat was his main appeal. Summer gets angry and defends him though, but only for a second, because then she amazingly gets bored and simultaneously blows the lady's head off and opens a portal home. A very Rick move. They escape home and PB asks Summer how he can repay her. She responds by asking if he could go to the prom with her, and he says yes, and they're both very excited. I almost tuned out here, but don't worry, there's some decent stuff still, and then an alternate ending that's much more satisfying in a shitty way. Anyways, the final issue starts the night of prom. Summer's getting ready and teasing Rick that PB picked her over him for his adventure. He responds by saying she probably messed up during the adventure, and that he was gonna find out where. PB shows up and Rick tries to get him to go to prom with him instead, which wouldn't even make sense since it's Summer's prom, and PB is Summer's +1, but it would have been hilarious. The pair head off to prom while Rick goes in search of Summer's mistake, and the way he phrases these lines remind me a lot of how Morty does this in Forgetting Sarah Morchhall.
Morty, can you help us with this UFO-shaped hole?
Sure, but, only because I was in the neighborhood.
Morty, thank God! The beast emerged right after your grandpa left, and its gem went missing.
Geez, that is a crazy coincidence that if I were you, probably just best left alone.
Anyways, he ultimately discovers that Cecilia was still alive somehow, and he drags her to Summer's prom, portaling in right as the principal announces that Summer and PB were prom king and queen. Rick crowns himself prom king though and slams Cecilia down, bragging that he would have fully killed her, because he appreciates being thorough. Then Cecilia pulls her guns out, which Rick for some reason left her with, and he's also somehow surprised that this is happening, which if we're being honest, it's ridiculous, but it's not completely unrealistic in terms of the character. Summer says she wants to do this herself, and gets a gun from Rick. Then this weird standoff ensues where the 2-point guns at each other's heads. They talk a lot, and Rick apologizes and admits he was just jealous, and also that this was his own fault, so he decides to fix it himself, and he whips this enormous gun out. But then Cecilia just runs away somehow, and the trio have to go after her. As a family, they split up and Rick spots her first, shooting her on sight, not realizing PB was standing behind her. And obviously here his blood is blue, whereas in the show it's red. But I think this is actually just a rating thing for the type of comic this is, and the age range it was rated for. Anyways, Summer finishes off Cecilia and they rush PB back to the hospital. With the same lady doing his PT, same room, same medicine cart, Rick's still got his flask out. Summer's got flowers like her mom did. The nurse asks them to leave though, and Rick once again says,
"That's the way the news goes."
We then get the alternate ending from Dimension S-223, where Rick once again asks PB to ditch Summer and take him to prom instead, but this time PB says yes. So the two head to prom and win King and King, which again is especially hilarious because neither of them attend the school, but they party in the limo and get home to the glow of a portal in the house. They go inside to discover Summer on her way out on an adventure with Bird Person, and I honestly wouldn't mind if they made that too, but they won't. And that's the end of this comic. Let me know if you want me to cover the others though. As for its canonicity, the authors left it up to the creators of the show, who've simultaneously said nothing outside of the show is canon to our Rick, and that everything could technically be considered canon within the multiverse. And they've also literally thrown out theories about PB being a fourth dimensional type character, kind of like Batman's Batmite, but there have been in-show events that contradicted the stuff they said. So it's all very confusing, but I'm working on a video covering the 4 different origins we have for PB and which is the most canon. So stay tuned, but that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to start releasing 2 videos per week this week, so if you're a fan of my channel or just discovering it and like what I do, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you have ideas for other videos, please leave a comment. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.